Been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely, 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 lonely time. But let's get it on! I'm here to win, and I'm here to win the championship, and I'm here to become the very best fighter that I could possibly fucking be. You know, we have two eyes on the outside, one on the inside. Everybody's always looking for answers outside of themselves. That's why they fail. You gotta close your eyes, you gotta use your third eye, you gotta look within yourself, win from within, win from within, win from within.
Welcome, guys, to another Next Gen Success episode. We are here with
Cody Vidal. It doesn't matter what you say because I am them all.
The next BKFC title holder.
At 185, that's 185 pounds, and I don't know how to translate into kilos. I know it's 2.2 fucking pounds per kilo. But yeah, I don't know how to do that in my head. I don't have a math degree and PhD,
Neither do I. Dropped out of school, so.
Good. Best thing you could ever did.
Well,
besides
I'm
interview me.
now. I'm in school now. Like, I'm missing school to be in Italy. We're in Firenze,
Italia. And I don't really know too much Italian, but I know if you just add A at the end of everything and use an Italian accent, it works. For example, breakfast. When I go to breakfast at the hotel today, or any day, I just go, odora panqueca e oatmeal. And they fucking do it.
Yeah.
pretty accurate,
Well
to
said,
be honest
well
with
said.
you. Let's start off. I want to go into, kind of tell us, where are you right now in the BKFC?
In their heads, I'm in their heads, zombie. Where am I at in BKFC? I'm in the first bare knuckle boxing fucking event, BKFC event in Firenze, Florencia, Italia, right? And Conor McGregor's gonna be here. Alexander Usyk's gonna be here. We have Chris Camozzi fighting against Andres Bicci of Italy. This is an amazing event. You have Sweeney and Franco going at it again for the third time. I threw my name in the hat if they needed anybody to fight. And I'm just here for vacation. Gabriel Rapisarda is the man who owns BKFC Italy. And he's actually my manager. So thank you so much, Gabriel. I can't thank you enough. This is an amazing opportunity. I brought my coach, my best friend, and I brought my lover, who's also my best friend too, Savannah. And again, my coach and best friend, Tyler. And this is an amazing, 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 amazing experience. And although I'm going to be a character here on this interview, just know that I am humble. I am very grateful. But let's get it on!
As we spoke about in the last episode, BKFC are bringing gladiators back to Italy. How does it feel to fight in Italy as a gladiator?
Say that again. How do you say that?
Gladiator.
Well, every time I taste my lady, I'm glad he ate her. And when I'm talking about he, I'm talking about me. So glad he ate her.
Gladiator.
Bro, this guy's wordplay is insane. We went out for lunch with him just before, and I can't even tell you what he said.
Well, you know the word wow spelled upside down on his mom, right? Okay. Wow, Mom.
Wow.
All
right, but there's something interesting about you. We're not just interviewing any BKFC fighter. He's the first BKFC fighter to be a hypnotist at the same time. Tell us about that.
All right, so seriously, all terrible jokes aside, I am a hypnotherapist. I work with business owners, athletes, etc. I eliminate limiting beliefs, mental blocks, negative thoughts, negative emotions. I eliminate negative actions known as bad habits, and I eliminate those negative results in each individual I work with, and then I reprogram your mind to have a rapid, easy success. So if you're a business owner, you're going to make way more money. You're going to have greater peace of mind. If you're an athlete, you're going to win more, and you're going to have greater peace of mind.
Would you like to explain how hypnotism works or your style of hypnotism?
Book a session. I talk about hypnotherapy all the time, but just know that it works. I work really well. And actually, I met a fighter today named, his last name is Justice, Jeremy Justice, or Jimmy Justice. Jimmy Justice, exactly. And he's from the UK, and he told me that he had some issues getting a fight. I told him I was a hypnotherapist. He asked me to go in his room. I took my coach, Tyler Smith, with me. We actually recorded the session. I did a 30-minute session on him. We erased that belief, reprogrammed him. Next thing you know, he goes downstairs. He finds Dave Feldman, and Dave Feldman tells him, I got you a fight. Manifestation.
That's crazy. So, I want to get into this. How did you get into fighting in the first place?
Life is a fight. You know, when you're born, you're immediately born into a war. And life is also peaceful. But you can't have peace without suffering. And so to suffer is to succeed. And that is a very philosophical question, which is a very philosophical answer you're going to receive from me. But as always, to fight is to defend yourself, number one. So at a very early age, I recognized there is no one that I will ever let have dominion over me. No one but me and God, the one that created me in his likeness and in his image. And so with that said, fear fuels failure, but faith fuels fortune. And I am fortunate enough to have faith in myself, faith in God, to do exactly what it is that I do. Win. And even when the referees call a fight to a cut because it's their job, or even if the judges do a bad judgment, doesn't stop me from knowing I won. Doesn't stop me from feeling I won. Doesn't stop me from acting as if I won. It doesn't stop me from actually winning. So how did I get into fighting? I was born into it.
How did you land yourself into BKFC, as it's quite an extraordinary way to fight in comparison to the rest of MMA with gloves or boxing with gloves?
Everything happens in the mind as a thought. And everything that you create, everything that you do in this life first begins as a thought. Everything. Thoughts become emotions, emotions become actions, actions become results. Those results, if they're desirable, they will reinforce those positive thoughts that you thought. They will reinforce the positive emotions that you felt. They will reinforce the positive actions that you did when you were feeling those emotions. And therefore, you will create a positive cycle. The same is true for a negative cycle. And so the easiest answer is I thought about it, and I was very passionately thinking about it. And then the more complicated or more detailed answer would be that I hypnotized myself to do this. I said I was going to be the very first bare knuckle boxer in California sanctioned history to walk to the ring and to fight in the ring. I made it happen. 2 weeks before the fight, Nate Shook, the matchmaker for BKFC, called me messaged me and said, "Hey, got a fight for you in 2 weeks if you want it."
So Cody, you spoke about how you were born into a war, but I want to take it back a little bit. What was your childhood like?
My childhood was painful. And every child has pain. And every child has situations that will be struggles. We humans are not different in that aspect, or the aspect that we're all going to become corrupted by the world. I know that my childhood was not near as bad as most people's that are really bad. But my childhood was bad enough to make me a bad boy. I'm just kidding. But I'm not. And you have a choice in life. Like, you're going to let your pain make you a bad person, or you're going to make your pain make you a good person. And the same is true for joy. You could take joy and you could be super happy and still do whatever you want to do, which means sin, which means be corrupt and become a bad person from that. And, I'm crazy. A lot of it is just unfiltered, uncontrolled explosiveness, impulse that I don't really care to control at the current moment. But if you ask me serious questions and get me to be serious, as a therapist, as a fighter, as a father, and as a believer in God, a follower of God, I'll get serious. And I will tell you that my childhood, all the good and all the bad, led me to here, sitting here with you boys. And I love it all. I love it all.
As you said before, I'm guessing a believer in Christ and a Christian. How has it affected your life in a positive or negative way?
It's all been positive. The Christian life, right, is to live for Christ. It's an acronym I created not long ago at all, like 2 weeks ago. FOR means faith obeys righteousness, Righteousness is doing what is good, what is doing good, what is healthy, what is happy, what is holy. The word holy means complete, means wholesome, right? So if you are healthy physically, healthy mentally, healthy spiritually, you're holy. And God gives us everything, including wisdom. And if you just use the wisdom that he gives us and apply it, and you live a loving life by thinking and feeling and doing loving thoughts, emotions, and actions, you will have loving results. That's what God wants for you. God doesn't want you to hurt anybody necessarily. As a fighter, we're doing this mutually, right? So we're both kind of foolish in that way, the opponent and I, right? But God has given me the abilities that I have and has directed them into a greater purpose. And so, you know, my greater purpose is to win this championship and to help children. You know, Dave Feldman went public about his childhood. He went public about his mother. It was a very touching story. And I won't go into the details. It's not my job to do, but children are the gifts from God. We all started off as children. And the world needs to treat children like the gifts they are. They're innocent, they're pure, they're enthusiastic, and they're passionate about life. And most of us lose that along the way. Most of us lose our innocence, we lose our purity, we lose our enthusiasm, and we lose our passion for life, and we become miserable. And nobody wants to live miserable. So God has made me a happier person. Thank you.
And with reference to your fighting, how does God come into that?
So Christ made the ultimate sacrifice to not just die for us, but to live for us. He went against all the religious leaders. He went against religion itself, because religion is basically taking what truth is, which is the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm creates the physical realm. You can call it metaphysical if you want to be more scientific. So the energy that we can't see with the naked eye creates the world around us, the universe. And I could go very deep into this. But I will just say this, that, you know, whether it's Judaism or it's Islam or there's all these religions have a god or gods, right? I'm not talking about just Judaism, just Islam, just Christianity. I'm talking about all religions together. But if you talk about the Abrahamic religions, I'll get very serious, because it started off Judaic, went Christian, and then later on, 500, 600 years, came Islam. We all have the same creator. We all have the same Father. We all have the same Abba, the same Allah, right? And it's like, here we are waging war against each other, and we're not doing that for God. Does God want us to be fighting and killing each other if we are children of God? Well, some will say, you're not a child of God and you're not a child of God. It's like, hold on a second. Who created human beings? Okay, so the way children act is what they're taught. So if we're taught different religions, different concepts, different ways of life, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be difference. And what happens in difference? War, division, okay? And who's in charge of war? Shaitan, Shamyaza, Shamayel, the devil. And so I go by a quote from Wanderlei Silva, one of the greatest fighters to ever live. He says, war in the ring, peace on earth. War in the ring is mutual, and it's pure, and it's artistic. It is justified. War outside of that is just men and women fighting and killing each other for at least one man's desires. Think about it. If you had a country, and you had a country, and I had a country, and we all wanted the same gold mine, we could share it, or we could fight over it.
So it kind of stems from greed and jealousy.
And greed comes from a fear of lack. And a fear of lack is cowardice. And God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. That's the same God that Jews, Christians, and Muslims believe in. Amen.
Did you get any backlash from family or friends about joining BKFC, as it's seen as more brutal and animalistic, even though it's not in boxing, as they have gloves?
My mom and dad are both crazy. I don't speak to them. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I've very much been my own boss my whole life. The only other boss I would say I have, besides my coach over there, besides Dave Feldman, and besides Gabriel Rapisarda, and obviously Conor McGregor because he's an investor. These are bosses, and this is a career of mine. But I don't need the financial aspect of it. I'm here to win, and I'm here to win the championship, and I'm here to become the very best fighter that I could possibly fucking be. And I know that I can be the very best bare knuckle boxer that this sport has ever seen, that this earth has ever seen. And I'm just going to do it one fight at a time. So with that said, can you ask a question again?
Yeah, have you had any backlash from friends and family joining BKFC since there's no gloves?
Yeah, but their opinion doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
Their opinion doesn't matter. Their opinion doesn't matter at all. And that's not me being disrespectful. It's just like, you know, if I want to drink orange juice today, I'm going to drink orange juice. If I want to go spill my blood because I want to win a championship, I'm going to spill my blood for the championship.
You've said you're a very spiritual man and you believe in hypnotism. How do you prepare yourself before a fight, whether that's months before or even minutes before you step into the ring?
Prayer, meditation, breath work, visualization, hypnosis. It all makes you calmer. Because you're calmer, you're more confident. Because you're more confident, you're more in control. Because you're more in control, you control your thoughts. If you're in control of your thoughts, you're in control of your emotions. If you're in control of your emotions, you're in control of your actions. If you're in control of your actions, you're in control of your results. This is exactly why I walk into these fights extremely calm, and exactly why my opponents feel that energy. And it's not something that they can deny, and it's not something that they can defeat unless they have a better way than I do, that I don't know about. You will lose.
You mentioned visualization. Could you go more in depth about visualization?
You know, we have two eyes on the outside, one on the inside. Everybody's always looking for answers outside of themselves. That's why they fail. You got to close your eyes. You got to use your third eye. You got to look within yourself. Win from within, win from within, win from within. And so what happens is when you visualize what you want to do in the future, you're actually doing it now in your mind, and your mind creates the emotions associated with those thoughts, and to feel makes it real. And so what you're doing is you're actually practicing it in your mind. You're rehearsing it in your mind over and over and over again, which tells the mind it's possible. And the more you do this, the more the mind relaxes and focuses and allows it to become a reality. And you're actually energetically, spiritually attracting what it is that you want by doing this, because I've done exactly that, and that's why I'm here, right now, we're talking to you both, because I am very good at attracting what I project. I'm very good at deserving what I desire. It's a decision.
Mm-hmm. So when you speak about other people's opinions, like you say, they don't matter, do you have people telling you that you're a crazy person because maybe you've been hit in the head too many times?
Listen, I have a caveman forehead, and I know how to use it. And this beautiful brain of mine is well protected. And with hypnotherapy, hypnosis, meditation increases neuroplasticity. The increasing of neuroplasticity rewires the brain and actually heals CTE. So Dave, when I was talking to you yesterday about how I wanted to help fighters, it wasn't just because I wanted to help them personally, help them perform better, help them speak better, help them express themselves better. It was to heal CTE.
Would you like to explain what CTE is for the people who don't understand what it is?
CTE is brain damage.
It's a pretty good explanation, to be honest with you.
And what happens is most people are taking brain damage to the frontal lobe, and this is the part of your mind that's the conscious mind. Your prefrontal cortex is your conscious mind. It's the only part of your brain you're really in control of. The prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind, is 5 to 10% of your brain activity that you're in control of. The rest of the mind is 90 to 95% unconscious, meaning you're not controlling it. With the power of hypnotherapy, you could actually gain more access to areas of your mind that are asleep, that are in the dark. And by increasing neuroplasticity, it's like literally creating new pathways via light throughout the brain, and then you start storing more information. And your brain, because it's storing more information, is relaying that information in your body. Now your body starts to act in a way that is associated to those memories that you're creating. And so, you know, you pick up a hobby like basketball, right? And you start playing it over and over again. You're rewiring your brain. You can rewire your brain without doing anything physical. That's meditation. That's hypnosis. That's prayer. And so what happens is, the question again, please, because I get off tangent. What's the question again?
Oh, CTE.
CTE. You know, what is brain damage, et cetera, right? So you're getting damage to the prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind. The person can have a lot of negative symptoms. You know, they could have enough brain damage in the PFC, prefrontal cortex, to where they're not producing testosterone adequately enough anymore. Their focus goes away. Their awareness goes away. Their impulse activity picks up, which is hilarious because at the age of 4, my mom diagnosed me with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and had me medicated with Ritalin. And the funny part about it is, which is, you know, coincidental, is that brain damage and ADHD mimic each other symptom-wise.
You mentioned Ritalin. Do you believe in Western medicine?
Nope. Big
What's your-
pharma, fuck you.
And what's your reasoning for this?
Pharmaceutical comes from the word pharmakia. Pharmakia is Greek for witchcraft and sorcery.
As we've seen, BKFC and boxing and combat sports as a general isn't just like hitting a ball with a racket or kicking a ball. How do you manage your emotions while in the ring?
I like being hit, and I like hitting people more. The more I hit people, the happier I am. The more they hit me, it makes me happy to hit them back. The more I hit them, the happier I am. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
He's lying. I programmed myself to be that way. And before I programmed myself to be that way, I was being hit as a child and told I was hated.
Why not?
So it became normal to me.
I want to ask you this. Now in modern days, men are becoming weaker. They're lacking testosterone. They're engaging in habits that bring down the testosterone, and you're seeing a decrease in the amount of fighters in the world nowadays. Most people don't like to fight. Most people are scared. People like to hide behind cameras and social media. So what would you say is the main cause for the lack of testosterone?
Design. It's design destruction. It's design division. Food, number one. Food. The food we eat is against testosterone. Testosterone makes a man masculine. Masculinity is heroic if used properly. I don't like using that stupid ass word toxic, but there is such a thing as toxic masculinity, right? If you take a person and you jack them up on a ton of testosterone, they're more likely to do criminal behavior. I study criminology. Most criminals have higher testosterone levels. The same applies for females. Most female criminals had higher testosterone levels, right? It's how you manage your testosterone. It's how you manage your mind. It's how you manage your thoughts and your emotions, right? And that all comes down to really is your free will and your belief system. You know, if you don't believe in ethics, if you don't believe in morality, if you don't believe in love, and when I say love, I mean caring for other people, caring for yourself, like to be healthy. I care to be healthy. I care that other people are healthy. I care to be respectful. I care that other people are respectful. I care to care, right? If you're not doing that, then there's an issue, right? And so the issue creates more division. That division creates more destruction. And then you go back to the question, which is ask the question again?
Yeah, so I was saying that men's testosterones are quite low nowadays, and what is the cause of that?
It's design destruction. You know, it's design destruction. It's a design division. The world doesn't want, the people who rule the world don't want everybody to be their strongest, because then they wouldn't be slaves anymore. It's that simple. You have the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, right? You have the business owners and you have the slave system. That's it.
How long do you plan to keep fighting for? Like you said that you have other businesses such as autism.
God willing, I fight for as long as it makes sense. Fight to win the title, defend the title a few times, stay working with BKFC, help grow BKFC, become a multi-millionaire, if not billionaire, with cryptocurrency. Establish my my system. I created my own systems of hypnosis, my own systems of mental coaching. Hire, train, expand. Work with businesses like Rasha to do so, and to reprogram the minds, because what I do is actually heroic. Christ came here to save souls. He can't save us. We're all going to die physically. I'm here to also help save souls. I'm not a deity. I'm a human. I'm flawed like everybody else. I got to piss right now too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just another human being. But what I do with my gifts is to pay back existence more love. And so being able to provide a way for others to protect themselves, a way for others to please themselves in a good, healthy way, to be able to provide a way for people to empower themselves is one of my main missions on earth. And I use my ability to fight to prove that I'm not just here talking, I'm here walking. I'm here walking with that truth that I talk about. And the truth is this: you are as strong, you are as worthy, you are as good as you want to be. I think, therefore I am. I feel, therefore I felt. I act, therefore I do. And I am because I do. Because I have. And so how long do I want to fight for? As long as it makes sense. But once I'm done fighting physically, I will continue. And I don't even like using the word fighting. Once I'm done winning physically in fights, I will continue to win and help others win. And so to all the fighters, whether you're my opponents or not, I care about you. What does he mean he cares about me? I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to take that suffering. And I know what it's like to guide that suffering in martial arts and combat sports and fighting to win a better life for yourself. To live a dream, you must dream of a life. And to have a fight, you must have an opponent. Sometimes the opponent's ourselves. Actually, the opponent is always ourselves.
You've mentioned your hypnotism. How do you plan on expanding that in the near future?
Marketing. The more people see it, the more they will want it, because it's controversial, right? And because it has an air of mystery. And what people don't realize is you're hypnotized on a daily fucking basis. You are. Oh, I can't be hypnotized. Hypnosis means to be asleep. So unless you can't sleep, you can't be hypnotized. You can't be hypnotized and you all sleep.
As you said, you're getting hypnotized constantly. This is also true with wordplay and how language is, like you said about pharmaceuticals. The word pharmacy, how it originates back to witchcraft. Exactly. I think there's many words like that. Wordplay, how they use it to control us for their agenda.
Exactly. You boys are Jewish, right?
Yeah, we're Jewish.
Gematria. Study that later on. I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, gematria.
Interesting.
And there's Kabbalah, right?
Kabbalah, yeah.
Yeah.
Kabbalic.
The whole entire universe was created by a word. The word uni means one. The word verse means word. How powerful are words? Well, spell the word word. W-O-R-D. Spell. Spelling, you're casting spells, right?
Yeah.
You put an S in front of the word, it says sword.
Another one that's similar to that is when a relative has died or someone you know has died, you mourn them. What's the first thing you say to someone you wake up?
I say good
morning.
day.
You say good day, but people say good morning as if you're mourning the day.
When they say that to me, I said, nah. Good day.
Seems like the Australians have it right, huh? Good day.
Good on, mate.
Speaking of accents, I know you like the Conor McGregor accent. He's one of your bosses, so...
Who the fuck is that guy? Keep going.
Speaking of that guy, would you fight him?
I would rather shake his hand and talk to him and become a friend of his and help him with the business. But, I mean, if for some reason he wanted to fight me, I'd fight him. I'd fight anybody that wanted to fight me. But to be honest with you, everybody's an opportunist. Like, I think it's gross when there's a fighter and they're like, oh, yeah, I want to fight Conor McGregor. It's like, what the fuck did you do to earn the right to fight Conor McGregor?
True.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so for me to say that right now, like, what did I do to earn? Well, I made the decision that I wanted to do it. Like, look, I love Conor McGregor. I think that he's great for the sport. I think everything he did is great for the sport. Whether his actions were good or bad. But Conor, if you ever see this, I like you. I love you in an essence that I would like to help you in any way possible. Whether it's with your body, your mind, your soul. I would like to help you with your business, whatever it is. I would like to help you because I know you have a lot of children. You have a wonderful wife, and I aspire to have more children myself. I have an 8-year-old, and we have similar energy, similar personalities. And you are Mystic Mach for a reason, and I'm Cody Vidal Visions for a reason because the visions I have are vital to everybody else's visions. If you can see it in here and you believe it and you can speak it, it'll happen.
Who's one fighter, dead or alive, past or present, that you'd love to throw hands with?
Respectfully, not to hurt them, respectfully, dead, Rocky Marciano.
Rocky Marciano.
Alive, Fyodor Vladimirovich Yemelenko.
Okay, as David Feldman has said, he's bringing gladiators back to Italy. How did it feel to be one of the gladiators in the modern century?
Very feel. It feels amazing. You know, they didn't really have a choice back then, I don't think, but we have a choice, so it feels even better than the gladiators, if you ask me. I don't want to fight no fucking lion or a tiger. Anybody that says they want to fight a lion or a tiger with bare hands is certified insane. You're stupid for saying that. Yeah, to be a modern-day gladiator, it means everything because if the world is actually ran by gladiators who thought with ethical, loving thought process, the world will be a better place. So the world is actually ruled by weak, evil men. Strong, good men is what the world needs, and strong, good man is who I make myself daily. And there are times where I'm not. And that's when you recalibrate.
What do you think of people who do not think that violence is the answer? Because I know there can't be structure without violence because there's always a threat of violence in everything.
Violence always backs up.
And good people that are violent can stop bad people that are violent. But what do you think of the people that don't believe in violence and always think that it's better not to fight?
There's a time and place for fighting. There's a time and place for combat. Fighting is essential to peace. You could want peace all you want to, but does your neighbor? Does your neighbor love thy neighbor? Do you love thy neighbor? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. Christ says that if there is a man who is evil and stronger than you, and he wants to come into your home and take your woman, your wife, and your children and all the plunder, and he's stronger than you, how do you stop him? Look, this is not to appear tough or strong or even aggressive. It's to be imposing for a reason. If you're watching this and you think you're safe for whatever reason, you're never safe. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter who you know. It doesn't matter how much you love even God. You are never safe on your own until you can stand on your own 2 feet and use your own 2 hands and use your mind, your body, your soul to defend yourself properly.
To add to that point, I believe many men have this belief that they can fight anyone and beat anyone, even me to a certain degree. But as soon as I started combat sports, I believe this point applies to Ariel as well. You think you're this, you think you're that, but you start sparring and you get humbled pretty hard, then you realize how vulnerable you were before and even are now, knowing what someone can do to you and would do to you.
It's more fuel for the fire. Nobody comes out of the womb and knows how to do geometry. It takes practice. So your micro failures in training are what leads to your macro successes in your fights.
Speaking of fights, when is your next fight?
Gabriel says that he wants to have me in Arena di Verona in September and here in Italy. And there were talks about August as well. Those are back-to-back months, obviously. I wanted to fight, here in the next 2 months. But, patience is a virtue. So what I want and what my bosses want will fuse together, and I will fight here within the next 2 to 4 months.
If you weren't a fighter, what would you be?
A coward, a weakling.
Do you think the fact that you're not a coward and a weakling contributes to your hypnotism?
I think that because I was a coward and because I was a weakling and because there is memory of that, that's what made me a warrior. That's what made me strong. That's what made me want to help other people be strong, be good, be great.
What is success to you?
Success is not financial. It manifests financially because the only obligation that the powers that be that rule this world put upon you is to pay taxes. That's it. Does anybody force you to be healthy?
No.
Does anybody?
Vice versa, actually.
What?
Vice versa.
Okay. Does anybody force you to be in a relationship, committed, healthy, loving relationship with someone else?
No.
Does anybody else force you to pray or meditate to fix your own body, mind, and soul?
No.
Does anybody else force you to do hobbies and activities you love to do?
No.
Does anybody force you to do anything but pay the price?
But are you hypnotizing us right now?
I'm asking you questions.
I guess the only thing they make us do is,
Pay the price.
yeah.
Pay the price. Look, most people miss the prize. Most people miss the prize in life because they're too focused on the price. It's not about the price. It's about the prize. To have an abundant mentality is to believe that you always have enough. And gratitude is wanting what you have. I want what I have. If my career ended today as BKFC fighter, yeah, it would be sad, but I would still have myself. I would still have my abilities. I would still have God. I would still have my God-given will. I would still have my God-given talent. I would still have my God-given love. Feldman said to me last night, he said, "Hey man, if I didn't think you had a shot at the title, if I didn't think you had a shot at fighting, if I didn't think you could fight, I wouldn't let you do this because you just told me you don't need this financially." There are people that think they do. You can make more money flipping burgers in some situations in some sports than some sports.
Yeah, like women's
BKFC,
basketball.
yeah, you can make a lot of money in BKFC. You can make a lot of money in boxing in general, right? But nobody needs to fight professionally. But you do need to fight daily, personally. So, I'm sure somebody could take this video and try to clip it and make it look like I said something I didn't. What I'm telling you is you can make a lot of money in boxing, bare knuckle boxing, BKFC. What I'm telling you, though, is it's not about the money. It's about the testimony. The testimony. What's the testimony? A testimony is a test you go through that tests the money that you are paid from the test, but not the money, not the physical money. It's the spiritual money, okay? And you don't have a testimony without a testament. The word ment means mind. So you get your testimonial, you get your testimony from a testament, a test of the mind. And everything we do begins in the mind as thoughts. So with that said, Why do I love BKFC? It's a test of my mind. How do I feel rich from doing this? Because it's a test of my inner spiritual money. I pay the price because I'm focused on the prize.
Thank you very much, Cody.
Before wrapping up, would you like to tell them where they can find you for BKFC and for the hypnotism?
Vitalvisions.com. Instagram is vital.visions. That's V as in Victor, I, D as in David, A-L.visions. And yeah, you can find me in the BKFC ring. Download the BKFC app. It's only $7.99 a month. How about that, Dave?
You
Sounds
like that?
good. Thanks for having us. Thanks you for being on the podcast.
Well, before we wrap it up, I got to say one thing. To anybody who's watching this and you're feeling like you are suffering for any other reason, every situation you're in, you are one thought away from feeling better. And you're one emotion away from not just feeling better, but from doing better. You're one action away from doing better, and you're one result away from feeling successful. Success isn't financial. Success it's a feeling, because to feel makes it real. You can go out and mow the lawn and feel successful. You can beat somebody up in a ring, in a professional fight, and feel successful. You could love God, love your significant other, love your family, and feel successful. Success is individual, but it all goes back to one truth. Love, because success is a feeling of love. Now, I'll end with this. One of my favorite quotes is from a book called A Course in Miracles. And in that book, it describes what love is. The universal law of life is love, for God is love. Now, we cannot break this law of love. We can only break ourselves when we go against that love, when we go against that law.